Welcome to this VLSI design lecture series. In today's lecture video, we will be discussing about transient response. The most fundamental way to compute delay is to develop a physical model of the circuit of interest and write a differential equation describing the output voltage as a function of input voltage and time and solve the equation. The solution of this differential equation is called as transient response, and the delay time is the time when the output reaches half of VDD divided by 2. The differential equation is based on charging of the capacitor as well as discharging of the capacitor in the circuit. The circuit takes time to switch because the capacitance cannot change its voltage instantaneously. So because of this presence of this capacitance, there will be some time for charging as well as discharging of the capacitor. If the capacitance of the capacitor is C, which is charged with the value of current called as I, the voltage of the capacitance varies as the equation which is shown below. I is equal to C into dV by dt, where I is the current, C is the capacitance, dV by dt is the change of voltage with respect to time. Every real circuit has some capacitance. In an integrated circuit, it typically consists of gate capacitance of the load along with the diffusion capacitance of its own transistors. The transistor current also depends on the input and output voltages. The input voltage is with respect to the gate voltage, and the output voltage can be with respect to source or drain terminals of the MOSFET. To illustrate this, let us consider an example of an inverter. So let us consider this particular example. So in this particular example, we have considered an inverter X1 is driving another inverter X2. Inverter X1 is driving another inverter X2 at the end of the wire. That is, the output of one of the inverter is given as the input to another inverter. So we have considered 4 MOSFETs, 2 P MOSFETs, P1, P2, 2 N MOSFETs, N1, N2. This actually is a buffer circuit. A buffer circuit is formed when 2 inverters are coupled together. Suppose a voltage step from 0 to VDD is applied to a node A, and we wish to compute propagation delay TPDF through X1, that is, the delay from the input step until the node B crosses VDD divided by 2. We have to consider some parasitic capacitances that have to be included. And those parasitic capacitances are illustrated in this particular figure. So if we observe, there are diffusion capacitances between the drain and body of each transistor and between source and body of each transistor. Drain and body of each transistor and source and body of each transistor. Similarly, the gate capacitance CGS of the transistors in X2 are part of the load. The gate transistors CGS of the transistors of X2 are part of the load. The wire capacitance is also a part of the load. The source to body capacitors as well as drain to body capacitors, source to body capacitor with respect to P1 transistor as well as the N1 transistor, all these are nothing but parasitic capacitors. Some of these capacitors names are the capacitance with respect to source to body with respect to P1 MOSFET, source to body capacitance with respect to N1 MOSFET, drain to body capacitance with respect to P1 MOSFET, drain to body capacitance with respect to N1 MOSFET, gate to source capacitance with respect to P2 MOSFET, gate to source capacitance with respect to N2 MOSFET. And in addition to that, the load capacitance also is included with C wire, capacitance with respect to the wire, which links inverter 1 to inverter 2, inverter X1 to inverter X2. So in this particular capacitor, parasitic capacitors which we have considered, the source to body capacitors CSBN1 and CSBP1. Both the terminals of these capacitors are connected to a constant voltage source. With respect to the source to body capacitance of P1, capacitance is connected to constant voltage source VDD. With respect to source to body capacitance of N1 MOSFET, it is connected to ground. So because these two capacitors, source to body capacitor with respect to MOSFET P1 and source to body capacitors with respect to MOSFET N1 is connected to a constant voltage source VDD and ground, these two are neglected. They do not contribute to switching capacitance and hence are neglected. So this particular figure shows the equivalent circuit diagram in which all the capacitances are lumped into a single capacitance C out, which is as shown. If we observe, the output capacitance is the summation of number of parasitic capacitors, such as drain to body capacitance with respect to N1 MOSFET, drain to body capacitance with respect to P1 MOSFET, wire capacitance, gate to source capacitance with respect to N2 MOSFET, gate to source capacitance with respect to P2 MOSFET. Before the voltage step is applied, that is A is equal to 0, N1 is off and P1 is on, and the output voltage B will be equal to VDD. So to illustrate this, we can consider this figure. When input A is equal to 0, N1 transistor, N1 MOSFET is off, whereas P1 MOSFET is on. So when P1 MOSFET is on and N1 transistor is off, N1 MOSFET is off, the output voltage which is seen at terminal B, at node B, will be equal to VDD. The output voltage will be equal to VDD. Similarly, when gate input voltage A is given as 1, P1 MOSFET is off, whereas N1 MOSFET is on. Hence, whatever voltage was stored in this node B, that will be connected to ground, and hence at node B, the output will be equal to 0. The rate of change of voltage VB at node B depends on the output capacitance and on the current through N1, which is given by the equation IDSN1, drain to source current with respect to N1 MOSFET is equal to C out multiplied by dVB divided by dt, where C out is the output capacitance or the load capacitance. dVB by dt is nothing but the voltage change with respect to time. Voltage change with respect to node B, voltage change of node B with respect to time. In summary, if we consider VA and VB, how the voltage fluctuations happen and which transistors will be on and which MOSFETs will be off. When the voltage with respect to node A is between 0 to VTN, where VTN is nothing but the threshold voltage with respect to N-channel MOSFET, N1 transistor is off, whereas P1 MOSFET is on. So when N1 is off and P1 is on, the output voltage will be VDD. The output voltage will be VDD. Similarly, when the voltage VA, the voltage with respect to node A is between VTN and VDD minus VTP, both the MOSFETs N1 and N2 will be on. So when both the MOSFETs N1 and N1 and P1 are on, only for small duration of time, when both these MOSFETs are on, that state with respect to node B will be intermediate state. And similarly, when the voltage with respect to node A is between VDD minus VTP and VDD, where VTP is nothing but the threshold voltage with respect to P-channel MOSFET, N1 will be on, whereas P1 will be off. So when N1 MOSFET is on and P1 MOSFET is off, whatever voltage which was stored in node B, that voltage will be connected to ground, and because the potential of ground is 0, the voltage starts to fall from VDD to ground towards 0. It falls from VDD to ground or 0 potential. I hope that you have understood this video lecture. Thank you.